Welcome to episode 89 of Ring Talk. Myself, Martin Theobald, and with me, Steve Goodwin. How are you?
All good. Been a good weekend.
Yeah, great weekend. Seems a long time ago now, but there we go. Right, before I get too deep into this, I'm going to be handing over to Kevin in a minute, who's actually going to go back and look at the weekend's work. So he's going to be talking all about that massive Wilder Fury fight. He's going to be talking all about the MTK stuff. He's going to be talking all about the Frank Warren show. All of them phenomenal cards. I can't remember what happened in all of them, if I'm honest. So, but that's just my age and memory.
Probably drinking too much again.
Yep. Never mind. So you and Kev are going to pick that up, and then we're going to come back after that, and we're going to start looking forward to the March shows that you've got. And giving people an idea, because actually we're halfway through February now.
Yeah, we're getting there, aren't we?
Which is frightening. But yeah, we're going to start looking forward to March, all the different fighters that you've got.
Look forward to the big fight we got this Saturday as well. We've got that to look forward to.
Yeah, so Jordan Joseph is out in action. Right, hand over to Kevin, you, and Kev, who does a brilliant job when I'm not here, and a brilliant job when I am here as well. So, Kev, on the other side.
Okay, so we're going to review the weekend's boxing. Obviously, the big heavyweight fight as well as a couple of other cards. So, Steve, first of all, I think we've got to start off with the Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder fight. What performance?
I think, so let's start by saying I think Tyson Fury was phenomenal. I think he done everything he said he was going to do. I think he beats Anthony Joshua. So I'm going to say that before I start with things that I don't want people to think are negative. So
let's talk about the tactics first of all as well, though. To come in heavy, I thought was a mistake. I think a lot of people did. I thought with his movement, I thought it was going to rely. The fact he come in a stone heavy, I thought was bad. Obviously it was Wilder coming down.
Forget what Wilder. We'll deal with Wilder in a minute. But Fury going in heavier, the idea was to maul him. Yeah. And if Wilder didn't have the movement to get away, then Fury was just going to walk him down.
Just that constant pressure. It was excellent. So
you've got to say the tactics were great. His fight, how he boxed was great. He done everything perfect, and I think we unearthed Tyson Fury as a real world heavyweight star.
Is this bigger than the Klitschko win?
Yes, I think it is.
The fact he's done it twice, I think, adds the magnitude.
But you've got to look at. There's no comparison now with Fury over Anthony Joshua. Joshua beat Klitschko that had already been beaten by Fury. There is no comparison in the two. I don't care what BoxRec says.
Sure.
Tyson Fury has gone to Germany, has gone to America, has gone into things that Anthony Joshua has not, for whatever reason, taken up the challenge and gone into it. We can go through all of that rubbish again about contracts, but he never did it. He never fought him. Fury did. Fury was happy enough to do the deal. Went and done it. Went and won. And full credit to him. So, and he's a great advert for boxing and deserves every applaud. But
and what's the but? Deontay Wilder. It wasn't a great performance, but not taking anything away from Fury.
Let's deal with Wilder.
It was a fantastic position.
What does Wilder depend on? Speed of punch.
Yeah.
And power. Right. Now, as you know, to get power, you've got to be able to land the shots and be mobile enough to do it. Why on earth would you come in over stone heavier than for the first fight? Heaviest than he's been in any major title fight.
It can only be two reasons. Obviously, they either thought that was going to help them, or he hasn't trained.
So, either one means, but either one, if they thought
wrong.
It was wrong. If they thought it was helping him, then somebody needs to be fired, because that's stupid. I mean, you're a coach, you know that doesn't make sense. And number two, if he hasn't trained, well then he's not turned up. But what I would say, Wilder looked like a fighter that had grown old overnight and was gone. Was a shot
big
fighter.
Time. Just a massive change.
He looked totally shot. And tired.
For the first round as well, every jab seemed to rock him to the boots.
He looked like a shot fighter. He looked like he'd gone old overnight.
Again, taking nothing away from Fury, the performance.
And we've already accepted that. We've already accepted that. But Wilder looked shot to me.
Yeah, crazy.
And I don't know what's gone on, but he was not the same fighter. Now, do I believe Wilder could, on that performance, would have beaten Fury anyway? No, I don't. No, so let's not take it away. But that was a Wilder that would be beaten by a hell of a lot of heavyweights. Dillon White would have beaten the Wilder that was there on Saturday, in my opinion. And I don't think Dillon White has got a hope in hell of beating Tyson Fury. So that's how bad Wilder was. Now, whether he'll come back from that wasn't a knockout like we're talking about to Lennox Lewis. No, that was a sustained beating. I doubt very much we'll see Wilder come back from that. If he exercises a third fight, he gets beaten even worse.
Do you think he will exercise the second?
Well, I don't. I've heard people say 100%. People say.
I think he will, because I don't know what else he does. Because I don't think he's. They can't rebuild him to that point again to get to their thing. So I think the only option is they roll the dice again and
get a payday and quit. But
Yeah.
honestly, do you think that sells on the back of that?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't sell as well. Certainly, there'll still be some interest in it, but no.
I wouldn't be interested in that.
It won't be anything that the fans will call for. I wouldn't call for it again.
No,
but I think they may exercise it, because I think if he's going to continue, I don't know what else you do. I can't see him going to build back up, because people won't want to see him in a 10-rounder again.
No, so they've got a difficult problem. But,
difficult.
If he does it again, that's his last fight. Yeah. He's done.
I agree.
To me, Wilder's done. Yeah. Done.
It wasn't the bomb squad, was it?
No, there's no bomb squad there. He's done. He's done. A Fury has shown the blueprint of how to beat him.
Yeah.
Come in heavy, push him back. But even lighter now. If he does it again, that sustained beating will have an effect going forward. And so I believe he should have come in at 214, 215 instead of 231. And at that level, he'd have been a much more competitive fight, and we would have really seen where we were. He's come in for whatever reason in an awful state, he had no movement, no balance, the power
shot resistance
had gone, so something is seriously wrong with him, and it may just be his career's come to the end, and we thank for seeing some really great nights and exciting times with Wilder, but to me, the man's finished as a boxer.
I've got two questions about this before moving on. One quite funny, but one thing. Okay, so the first one is, what do you think about the corner stoppage? The corner got a bit of criticism from that, saying that they
should have been around earlier.
It's mental. I cannot believe the criticism that's been levelled at the corner, saying they should have thing. It was the perfect stoppage. Like you say, even
I wanted it stopped around before.
Never going to
He was getting badly beaten up, and the more he wasn't winning, right? He was just surviving with a damaged ear, apparently a dodgy jaw, and he was just taking punishment. The more punishment, the less likely he's going to recover, and possibly the more chance he has of permanent damage. So I would have pulled him out the round before, but I think on that basis,
with the magnitude of the fight, he's a puncher.
But people say this. People die when they box.
I know exactly.
Boxers die and get severely injured. So what do you want to see him laid out, unconscious, and brain damaged? You're fucking mental if you think that fight.
I agree.
Anybody out there that thinks that fight shouldn't be stopped, you're fucking mental.
Boxing.
Stop watching boxing and come have a chat about it.
You know what you're talking about. Okay, the next one. So, obviously, Tyson Fury, great heavyweight. Does this make John McDermott the greatest heavyweight ever? Because John McDermott beat him the first time.
Oh, was that fight?
He definitely won that first time. I know we're talking years ago, I'm being a bit funny.
But you know and I know. And do you know that day? Do you remember, I don't know if you know, you did go, I went to the fight, I had money on him.
Oh, really?
I had about $4,000 on Fury to beat McDermott. I thought it was a stone cold, bonking certainty, right? Now, at that time, $4,000 to me was plenty of money. Yeah. And when the fight finished, I thought, fucking hell, I've just lost $4,000. And then the result got now.
That's you, lucky all over. Good win, luck again.
But the referee was a superstar that night. But we're going to talk about judging decisions later. But no. Absolutely. I mean, really, Fury is not undefeated. No way is he undefeated. He had an off night, but it takes nothing away from him.
John McDermott is the greatest heavyweight of the modern era. You heard it here first.
He beat the lineal champion, really. But he did get absolutely. But Tyson Fury did rectify in the ring, man.
Okay, so talk about the Frank Warren show. So, Brad Foster versus.
Before I start, right, you have a card live on BT Sport from 8 o'clock. Mm-hmm. Switching to ITV at 10:15, giving us the chance of an exposure to the terrestrial TV world and the BT world, right? 7 fights on the card, 5 of them prospects against journeymen. Are we serious? That that's a TV product? Sure. It's not a TV product. You're talking about on the BT show. You had 3 one-sided beatdowns where nobody, I don't think, won a round and there was stoppages. And then you had a great fight, which was Umar Sadiq against Cody Davis. But it doesn't take Einstein to realise that's a good fight, which we spoke about last week.
Which the Foster-Reed fight had the potential to be okay, didn't it?
Well, it wasn't the greatest, but it was okay. But then on the second half of the show, which went on ITV...
I didn't see it.
We had Dennis McCann fighting a foreign import, and really Dennis didn't look that good.
Although he's a great prospect. But
Sam Noakes in the first half looked better.
Yeah.
So Dennis McCann, Willie Hutchinson against Edgar Sneeze. That fucking hell, right? It was awful to watch. And then you had the.
And Willie Hutchinson is a good prospect too as well. But
listen,
no, I get you.
You can't look. Why there are plenty of really good fights, English level, Southern area level. Whatever you want to do, you could put on terrestrial TV.
That's what I'd love
and get
to
the
see.
public to see. Wow, that was a great fight.
Southern area fights and stuff like that.
Okay, it may not have a pop boxer of the quality of Willie Hutchinson,
Sure. No,
but
yeah,
it's much more customer friendly.
Better product.
It wasn't good enough, in my opinion, to when you got that exposure. I don't know who makes those decisions, but they're poor decisions, in my opinion.
Give me an example. Liam Dillon versus Daniel Wahome. It's going to be a great fight.
That should be on there.
That'd be a great fight. You know what I mean?
But Brad Paul's fighting Mick Hall in the final eliminator for the English. That should be on there.
Yeah.
There's loads of them. Why are these fights not on there? And they're putting shit on like that, which it was shit, because I don't want to watch Willie Hutchinson beat up Edgar Sneeze for 6 rounds, right? It's rubbish. And it doesn't. And then people that watched that, I know people that watched that who rang me and said, who hadn't watched boxing for a long time, who don't have Sky, and they rang me on Sunday and goes, this boxing's a load of shit, what, you know, blah, blah, blah. And that's not going to inspire people to go and watch boxing when you're putting drops on like that. So that's disappointing. Now move on to the positives of the show.
So,
a fantastic, I was delighted to see Umar Sadiq win.
Yeah, great fight.
Great fight. He basically took the bully and took the shots and basically outmanned him, and I was delighted to see Umar win because he's had to do it the hard way. Cody Davis,
he's been on our show as well a couple of times.
He's been a great person to deal with. Cody Davis, I was never that sold on him after he fought Evan McConzo, you know that, right? Yeah. I thought he would probably beat Umar. Not because, I mean, the odds were too wide, but I thought he'd probably beat Umar because he'd probably get the rub of the green with the judging.
Probably, those were well wide as well, weren't they?
It was 1-5 and 4-1.
Yeah.
And there was 14-1 and bits to win by points because nobody thought Umar Sadiq could possibly win with the judges. But he did, and he won clearly. And when it went to points, I was thinking, I really hope Umar doesn't get stiffed here by the judging, and he didn't, and it was well judged, it was correct, possibly wider than I thought it was, but the right man won, and I thought full credit to him because he's had to go around the small halls because after he lost to Zach Shelley, if you lose with a big promoter, you don't get an automatic feedback in a lot of times.
Sometimes you have to earn your right back. You have to sort of work.
And he's earned his way back. I don't think Umar's the most fan-friendly fighter. I think it was because I think his style, we'll go talk about other people like that in a minute, he's not going to be somebody that everybody's going to want to grab, but he has now hopefully got a chance of moving on towards the British title. So, and it was a really good fight. It was the one really good fight on the whole card. I think. Yeah, and then the other one, Brad Foster just beat up Lucian Reid for fun. Just beat him and beat him and beat him. One-sided beatdown, and Brad Foster was only 22. And Lucian Reid was exposed as being a really good fighter, but not a top-class fighter.
So where does the likes of, okay, it's not for us to comment on, but where do the likes of Lucian Reid go now when he's lost and stuff like that? Is it the end of the road for him, or has he got a chance to build back up? Or?
Depends on how much the promoter wants to try and rebuild him. Depends on how much the boxer wants to try and rebuild. But you weren't talking about a close loss here. You were talking about a beatdown.
Yeah.
And therefore you have to have a look and say, what do I want out of boxing? If I'm after the really super duper big paydays, he's never going to get there.
Yeah, sure.
So is his promoter really going to want to spend money on rebuilding? Because his promoter will look at him and go, that's really his level. Brad Foster is above it. Does he rebuild him back? It's a difficult decision, I think, at that stage as to what they want. Whether the promoter, the management team want to get behind him, whether he wants to carry on after suffering that beating. It's very difficult. Brad Foster, for sure, can move on. He's not ready for much above British level yet, but I think he's talented. He's managed by a guy called PJ Rosen, who's given a lot to the sport, and it's good to see him manage a fighter that's on top of the game. He used to manage Nick Blackwell at one point, so it was good to see him get the win, and I'm sure the Frank Warren team will be quite cultivating towards him now because they probably expected Reid to win. Now that he's won, I'm sure they've they've probably got options on him going forward,
Yeah,
so which is normal. And so I'm sure they'll want to do some deal with Brad Foster because
they're interested in it, don't they? So.
Absolutely, and Brad Foster now can move on and hopefully earn some good money out of the sport.
Okay, so on to the MCK show. I only see one of these fights. I had family over the weekend, so
I thought it was a far better show. Far better show than the show on Saturday. So let's start off with a positive.
I'll start with the one that I talked about, or the one that I see. So Ahara Davis, Jeffrey Ofori.
One-sided beatdown. Yeah. Jeffrey's tough.
Get a good account of himself, but it's 2 weights above what he should be at, shouldn't it? And Ahara Davis is a proper hard punching.
I mean, I think if Jeffrey's not. I love Jeffrey Ofori because he beat Germani Camiro and deserved to win that fight. He then did it the hard way and went up with it. He lost for the Southern area, didn't he? Yeah. And then he lost to Alfie Price, got absolutely hammered by him.
Then obviously took a
short notice fight when really most people wouldn't. No. And he went up and won that. He got a draw in his first round, lost there. But if he's not careful, Jeffrey Ofori is now at the crunch of his career. I know Mo watches this,
sure,
because he was the one that pulled me on the fact I didn't tip him to win.
Yeah.
But he's at the crunch of his career now, where he's just earned some good money. Mm-hmm. So psychologically, does he want to carry on earning good money?
Sure.
If he does, he becomes a glorified gatekeeper.
Sure.
Does he want to
make that weight and just churn?
He'll be churned out in the away corner to get beaten, and at the odd time he'll pull off an upset, similar to Patrick Mendy, for example.
Sure.
He'll be another Patrick Mendy. Mm-hmm. So it requires now some guidance if he doesn't want to do that. Probably somebody to sit down with him. So I will be interested to see what happens with Jeffrey Ofori going forward. But he's not a super lightweight, and he's not Ahara Davis's thing. Yeah. And he took a bit of a beating in that fight.
I did think you asked some questions of Ahara Davis as well. I still don't think Ahara Davis is a talented boxer. There's obviously just a change of the training team as well.
Jeffrey's a really good fighter. He's going to. This is the point about the gatekeeper. Yeah. He will ask questions of anybody.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between asking questions and losing, and becoming a champion and being a star.
Yeah.
And maybe Jeffrey Ofori could become a star at the right weight.
He's tough. Took some
at the right weight, at super featherweight, developed properly and not getting carried away by the fact he's earned a bit of money here and there.
Yeah.
But more occasions than not, the Jeffrey Oforis of this world go down the gatekeeper route.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. But I'll be interested to see, because I think I've got respect for all of his team, and I'll be interested to see what they do going forward.
Okay, Ryan Walsh, Tyrone McCulloch.
Tyrone McCulloch, who we looked after a short time. Now, basically, the problem with Tyrone McCulloch is he's super skilled but awful to watch.
Right.
He's a fighter that would never ever fill a venue, would never sell tickets. People would not tune in to watch him. Mm-hmm. People would watch the fight and get bored and switch off.
He's got a great personality.
He's a lovely kid. But I'm just being honest. He hasn't got. I'm not on here to just.
No.
Pay it. I know Tyrone. He's a lovely kid, right? Yeah. You know he is, and but it doesn't appeal to the public.
Sure.
So he's outboxing Ryan Walsh, doing on the run, and then Ryan Walsh corners him, knocks him down in, I think it was the 6th, and then again in the 9th, and in the end beats him up at the end. Ryan Walsh is a real quality fighter, so there's no loss in losing to fight like that. But the question again with Tyrone McCulloch, you're never going to get a major slot on a TV network show because people aren't going. You're not going to top the bill, and people flock in and buy 5,000-10,000 tickets. So he's got a problem as well. What are they going to do? Does he become a gatekeeper? Does he then? Because if not, he hasn't got the style that TV things are going to etc. And he was shown with Ryan Walsh that he wasn't good enough at that level. Yeah. So he's now got the problem, and this is the problem with fighters. The same as Wally Camacho sort of had. Although he won a few titles and then went back up again. But it's it's what you do with these fighters when they reach that zone. And Tyrone McCulloch is one that they're going to have to sit down and plan it.
When it gets to a certain level, navigation's so key, isn't it? That's so key to what defines careers is mapping and navigating the way through. But that's it. That's all we got on the list, Steve.
We haven't. We have got
on our list.
We've got 2 more that we watched.
Okay.
And I've got the Lee Wood against Jazza Dickens.
Yeah.
That was Jazza Dickens. Well, Jazza Dickens basically won clearly. It was a tough fight on paper. Lee Wood was favourite, but Jazza Dickens was superb. And the other fight,
Tyrone
McKenna against Mimoon. That was a fucking...
I see the first round of that.
That was a fucking disgrace.
I see the first round.
That was a unbelievable...
So
in my opinion,
we could have won the first round.
Now look, when I say it's disgrace, I know the referees.
Sure.
These referees are genuine people that work on the small hall scene, and they. But I don't know whether somebody gave them a drink of water, and this night they were all blurred vision, watching the fight with blurred vision, because nobody, apart from those three, thought that McKenna won. Watch the video. After the fight, the referee, Victor Lachlan, turned around when they announced the result and turned around to the MC Terigacci and said, "Are you sure?" The referee
think he got the MC.
Think he got the winner wrong. I have never seen something like him. Now we know that the competition, the way they selected it, was all geared towards O'Hara Davis fighting Tyrone McKenna in the final. That's what the whole thing was geared towards. But come on, that's ridiculous. Watch the fight. It's as bad a decision.
So rather than thinking about it, the thing the Davis McKenna thing, talking about not to slag referees and judges.
Well, they called it as they called it, but
sure.
I mean, how? Listen, one of them getting
is it becoming more of a problem though?
Yes.
The judging.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So let me ask you another question.
Well, there was one in Scotland. McGregor against. Was it McGregor against Farouk? I mean, that was bad again.
So what do they do? What's the answer? What's the antidote?
The antidote is referees can't do it right at the venues.
Okay, so
they don't right.
Desensitise.
Not all the time. And you know, a lot of people are going to say the referees are corrupt and bent, right?
Sure.
And watching that fight on Saturday, if you didn't know the people concerned,
sure,
you could seriously, if you weren't involved in boxing,
we know the rest.
Yeah, if you were somebody on the outside of the sport looking in, you would believe believe they've been bought.
Yeah, right.
But I know they haven't.
Is it there about? So I didn't see it. So
right. Sure. You would believe they've been bought. You would believe they've been paid off. Right. That's what somebody, and this is what spoils it for boxing. But you've got all three of them scoring it the same way. Mm-hmm. Nobody, apart from those three judges, thought that was the result. Why have they done that? Maybe the support for McKenna got to them.
Yeah, that's the issue with being live, isn't it? You can be, as a human being, you can be influenced by the the crowd and the noise that's going on and everything else. But
you've also got the fact that when you had the fight between in Scotland with Lee McGregor, it was also an MTK card where the noise is quite loud. That once again, that was the wrong decision.
Yeah.
Now you've got to turn around and say, I've watched both these fights, right? There is no doubt. Both those fights are the same, and it's not I can pick a few of them. But they both scored it. I think it was 3 or 4 rounds, 7-3, 8-2.
Right, yeah.
You were lucky if Tyrone McKenna won 3 rounds. How can you give him 8?
So you think the antidote is decentralised?
Don't tell anybody who don't tell the promoters who the refs are. The board will appoint the refs, right?
Right.
The feed, definitely for the bigger fights, the feeds are sent, they get the camera angles and they watch it from there. So that nobody knows who the refs are. They're not sitting there getting abused after the fight by you've got the pressure of promoters sitting with you, and that's you got to remember when they score these judges, they're in an arena with all the people involved afterwards. So for me, I think they should not in certain.
Yeah, it's very up close and personal. It's not like a referee.
So when they score against the home fighter,
they have to sit in the crowd for the rest of the night,
and they've got to suffer maybe if they're getting from the crowd, or if a promoter thinks they've given a wrong decision, or a manager does. Something's got to happen.
Yeah, a promoter's not going to. But someone in the crowd might get.
But the manager, corner teams get upset.
Yeah.
You know, people get upset with referees. Yeah. I've seen referees on our shows get boxers on their fans will try and approach a referee.
Yeah.
It's not very nice for them, right? I accept that.
Sure.
But something is wrong when you can have 3 independent, honest judges scoring a fight like that. It's just ridiculous. So something has to be done.
Decentralised judging.
And don't tell anybody who the judges are.
That's interesting. Okay, well, let us know your thoughts if you had any other thoughts. But that brings us to the end of this week's review.
And we're back. Thank you very much, Kev, for holding the fort. Right, before we go on to too much of what's coming up overseas, etc., let's talk about Jordan Joseph.
Jordan travels down to Bristol to fight Powell August for the Southern Area light heavyweight title this Saturday.
So it's his second shot, isn't it?
Second
he
shot.
fought Chris Hobbs first time round.
Yeah.
Came up short in that one.
He's having another go.
Yeah.
August is a capable amateur, heavy-handed. Jordan's got all the skill set. Look, on paper he's the underdog, I guess, but he's going there. He's going there with a live chance, and we're hoping and confident that he's got a good chance of pulling off an upset. Would be an upset fighting in his hometown.
Yeah.
But August is a real quality fighter, and I have watched him, and I think he's decent. But Jordan's not scared about that. He wants to go and have a go, and we're hoping for the best. You never want to predict too much, but Jordan's trained, has had proper preparation. There's no excuses. He's training well with his dad and Don Charles, and everything that can be done has been done. No stone has been left unturned.
Yeah. So Jordan, for those that don't know him, is probably one of those. It's fair to say he's a victim of the business side of boxing. Is that okay to say?
Very fair.
In that he's not a big ticket seller. He doesn't market himself as he doesn't go out pushing himself on social media and things as a boxer.
Not a type of character.
Yeah, he's not at all. And to that end, without an Olympic medal round his neck, it's difficult to walk a well-designed path within boxing.
Correct, yeah.
And
I can't do what I've done for Linus, Udofia and Brad Pauls, for example.
Yeah, so he's taken opportunities when he perhaps wasn't ready for them, or they're perhaps not the right fights. I think back to the Joshua Boazzi fight, for instance.
But you remember that wasn't a fight I wanted. I didn't want that fight.
No, and again, if he sold 500 tickets per fight, that's probably not a fight he'd have been in.
No. But he wanted to take the opportunity. I did think when we got him the opportunity against Chris Hobbs for the Southern Area, I thought that was the right opportunity.
Yeah.
I think he should have won that fight, and I think it was a very close decision. But that shouldn't have been a close fight.
Yeah, and he could have won that fight on the night. It was that close.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But this is probably the right fight for him now.
Yes, 100%. This is not taking the wrong fight at the wrong time. It's the right fight in a sense that he's got to go and have a title. There is no point in him just running around trying to fund 4-6 round fights. There's just no point. He's either good enough or he's not good enough.
Yeah.
And when you're a non-ticket seller, you've got to find out whether you're good enough. And he's got to find out if he's good enough. And if he's good enough, he wins, we move on and we create big opportunities for him.
Yeah.
If he's not good enough, then he's going to find that out on Saturday.
So it's a bit of a make or break moment for him.
It's a career-defining fight. Jordan Joseph, this is his night.
Are you going?
I can't. Josh is going. I'm going. I've had tickets booked for 6 months. Cirque du Soleil with Trevor at the Albert Hall Saturday, so I can't go. And if I try and if I book something up with my wife and friends 6 months in advance, I can't change that because of a fight. But Josh is going, and Josh will look after everything down there for us.
Yeah, yeah.
So
it's a big night for Jordan. Best of luck.
100%.
Hope he does the job.
100%.
And you can have a new Southern Area champion.
I hope so.
Come next week.
Nothing would please me more.
Yeah, and I know you've got a personal connection to Jordan, haven't you, alongside his dad and knowing him
I
since he's a young lad.
I mean, I'll be sitting on my phone that evening. We're going to Cirque du Soleil in the afternoon. Then we're going out for a meal in the evening, so I'll have my phone on, and obviously Josh will relay to me everything as it's happening. Because obviously I won't be, to be honest, able to concentrate much on eating when I know Jordan's fighting.
Yeah, yeah. So best of luck, Jordan. Saturday night. Move on overseas. So stuff to look forward to. Jay Harris gets his big shot over in America.
Gets smashed, doesn't he?
I wouldn't have put it so bluntly. Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm torn, right? So I'm torn. I don't know what I'm torn because sending somebody to what I consider to be to the executioner's table. No, I don't mean he's going to get killed, but I mean he's going to get beaten badly. It's hard, but I understand that he'd want to go and fight for the opportunity. I get it. But history just tells me you're just there as a full guy get beaten. Obviously, I hope Joe Harris wins because, you know, he's come up with Gary Lockett. He's a great trainer. Yeah. But I mean, Gary Lockett went to America, didn't he, and got hammered as well. I mean, I think it was Kelly Pavlik done it to Gary. I just think we're going to see another one of those sort of fights. So But then you then turn back. If he gets a bad beating, will he ever recover and be the fighter he was? But do you take the opportunity when it's there? I think that's something everybody will have difference of opinions on.
It's difficult. Like, I love the Jay Harris stories. He still works at Amazon, doesn't he? He does night shifts 3 nights a week. He's chasing his dream. He's beaten domestically, aside from Charlie Edwards and Udofia. He's beaten everybody there is to beat. He beat.
Come on, what does that really mean?
No, I know, but that's the problem. That once you've done it domestically, there's only about 6 lads at your weight anyway.
No, so I don't have. I've just got mixed thoughts about.
But there's Martinez. He looks special, doesn't he? He's the one that beat Charlie Edwards at the O2 when fucking Suleiman came in with his VAR and overturned the result.
I just think it's one-sided.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. Koyejo, speaking of the man, he's fighting over there. I don't even know who he's fighting, if I'm honest.
Gonzalez, he's fighting. I mean, I'm not. It doesn't inspire me. Don't get excited by watching him. It wouldn't persuade me to stay up at night. I think he probably wins, but it's a tough fight. It's not a bad fight, to be honest. It's the best fight of the night. It's the most competitive fight of the night. But I just don't get excited by watching him.
No,
and I don't mean to sound negative, because I get excited by lots of things, but there are some fighters out there, and I think we're all the same, that we've all got different fighters, and some fighters just don't fly our boat to watch, and that's just it doesn't mean they're not skillful, doesn't mean they're not talented, just means I get bored watching them.
Yeah, no, I would agree. And I think Koyejo must have the most uninspiring world title reign that I can think of, in terms of ones that have held them for a longer period, and that's partly my own ignorance. I don't know these lads at the lower weight division.
I just think it doesn't. A lot of people aren't fussed.
Yeah,
nonplussed about it. But again, doesn't take away his talent.
Yeah, Mikey Garcia taking on Samuel Vargas.
Yeah, it's a better fight. I mean, Garcia wins, I think, but that's a fight worth watching. I mean, I like Garcia, but I know he had that long break from the sport with his contractual issues. And then he's come back, and he doesn't cement himself in any one weight division. No.
So he goes from lightweight to welterweight to welterweight, and he's never sat at one. I would love to see him go down to light welter and take on Josh Taylor there. Like, why is he not doing that? Why is he fighting Samuel Vargas?
I presume he's chasing the money.
That's what it looks like.
I can only assume what he's trying to do is find the easiest opponents for the best money.
But then he fought Errol Spence in the last one. That's not an easy opponent.
But now he is. I think that's what he's doing now.
Yeah.
The Spence fight, no. I mean, he probably took the money from Spence, got well paid. Took a beating, and then now moves on and thinks, where can I fight, get the most money for the least risk?
Yeah.
Surely that's not.
That's a shame if he goes down that career route, because I say he's such an exceptional talent, but has never cemented himself as the best in any one weight division. Go and fight Josh Taylor.
But then, what's boxing about at that level? Isn't it about getting the most amount of money you can?
It is, but they don't fucking pay me, so I don't care. If I got 10% of their purse, then I would agree.
If I was his manager, then I'd be looking for the easiest fight for the most money. And if you're going for a mega fight like Spence, which I presume you got well paid for, but other than that, there'll only be hundreds of thousands of dollars in these fights, not millions. So you may as well try and get as much as you can and then go back in for another big payday. So that's what I think they're doing. I can't blame him for that. It's not about why should he, if he goes in for a bigger fight now on the back of that loss, he might get £100,000 more but have a much, much harder fight.
Right, enough about fighters I don't really care about. Let's come on to your March show. So we're just going to run through some of the biggest fights on the March show.
We lost the title fight for the 7th of March. Alan's not best pleased, who's promoting it. With the Papa pull-out against Lopes, so that title fight has been removed from that show. So we've got a lot of exciting talent on there. Mark Little comes back, who really needs to re-establish himself. He had a disaster last time, but I'm sure he's going to resurrect it and go back into.
Hey, if nothing else, it'll be a fun fight. You know you're going to get a fun fight out of Mark.
And do you know what? I think he'll learn a lot out of that first blemish on his career. And talking about cruiserweights, Jamie Smith, who I've got massive hope for. He's having his second fight on the card. And he's taking on Victorious Razma, who beat the heavyweight Ryan Charles in his last fight.
Yeah.
So that's a proper fight.
You like Jamie Smith, don't you?
I think he's really good. I think he's one of the special kids. I think he could be exceptional. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to him. Although so we've got a few others on that day. Though I'll be flitting between venues because I'll be there for a little bit, and then I've got to go to Brentwood because we've got Sam Gilley fighting our Curtis Felix for the Southern Area welterweight title. That's at Brentwood. So Curtis has got another opportunity of a title. We've gone to that show because it went to purse bids and we got phenomenal money, as you know.
Yeah.
So Curtis is fighting there, and then I've got Kay Prosper defending his English title in Dunstable against Bilal Raymond. So all things being well, I go from York Hall to Brentwood and get to Dunstable in time.
Yeah. I'm going to Dunstable for the night. I'm going to go and watch Kay.
Yeah, exactly. But I've got to try and do the thing with Curtis. He's the away fighter. I have to be there with him.
Yeah.
Because Kay's got everything sorted out as a home fighter in Luton. So I'm going to try and do. I'm hoping to get to see everything.
Yeah. You go and piss off Greta Thunberg for the night, and I'll take a short trip down the road.
Exactly. So that's good. Then the 14th, we've got the triple header of Southern Areas on Amy's show. We've got the Lopes Martel fight. But I can't wait for that fight.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that fight. And Jose is somebody I've known for many years. He's he's the fighter that I've had the longest as a manager.
Is he?
He's actually coming up for his second renewal this year.
Wow.
I've managed him for nearly 6 years.
That's awesome, isn't it?
So it means a lot to me with Jose, and we go back, and I so want him to win.
And if you want to know more about that fight, go back and watch last week's where we gave it a bit more.
Yeah, and there's also a preview. There's a talk about the press release. There's a special news release that's out on the website, on the YouTube channel. Have a look at that. So there's that. We've got Dean Richardson, who's had the perfect career so far. He's got a defence against Conrad Stemkowski. And then we've got Sean Phillips, Davis Pagan for the middleweight title. Plus we have Chavez, Campbell, Ish O'Connor having a 6-round 50-50 battle. 4 brilliant fights.
Yeah. Brilliant
fights, all 4. And I think it's going to be a great night. And we'll have all 4 of those fights back to back at the end.
Oh, I love it when it does that.
Yeah, all together, bang. We'll have it all. It's going to be a great night.
Then 21st of March.
We've lost Daryl Church, Dominic Felix, the Southern Area eliminated. Daryl's decided to retire. But we still have Linus Udofia defending his English title against John Brennan. Dennis Wahome taking on Liam Dillon for the English super featherweight title. So we've got the 2 English title fights there that headline the card.
It's a cracking fight. Both of those are.
You like both of them?
Well, I love any Linus fight, but...
And you've got the Sean Robinson, Adrian Martin English Eliminator, so they're really good fights. Really good fights. And there's a great undercard with that. And we will discuss the undercard in that closer to the time. Charlie Duffield's coming on. He's on the undercard, he's been added. So there's some really good fights. That's the one I'm promoting on that card. So we'll go through the fight in more detail, but there's some brilliant fights on there.
With Charlie Duffield coming on, he's trained and possibly managed by Mark Tibbs. Yeah, so is that just a matter of Mark Tibbs rings you up and says, have you got a home for Charlie for the night?
Yeah, and we're happy to do that. Charlie's been on shows of the Goodwin group before. Lovely kid.
Yeah.
And we were happy to accommodate. We don't, and Mark Tibbs, as you know, with managers, we only have certain managers' fighters on our shows, you know that, and we've never had a minute's problem with Mark Tibbs. He's always been very, very deep, very, very good to deal with. So I've got no problem with Mark when he wants to try and get fighters on if we've got room.
Yeah, and you always know with Mark Tibbs you're going to get a certain type of fighter in you. He's not going to bring anyone along.
No.
Same with Ali down at Stonebridge.
Yeah,
whenever I see that you've got one of his on, I think, ooh.
7 from Mark Kola Koyejo.
Yeah, I'm going to get to watch him. Whoever it is, he always brings someone that's a little bit special.
Bang.
Yeah, who was the Kazakh guy that he had down
Yeah, he was good, wasn't he?
Fuck me. Oh, he gave a proper beating to Rabansky.
Yeah.
Was it? Oh, that was a great fight.
But Ali,
he only brings a certain
level
of talent. And he always brings Ronald McIntosh down with him as well, doesn't he? Big one.
But Ali's great. Again, Ali's great to deal with. We've got people we work with and we've worked with historically.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. But we're not a home for every manager's spare. We don't want a show of all spare fighters. We'll accommodate certain people when we can. Mickey Moo out all the time, it goes without saying, because we work together.
Speaking of which, Ramez Mahmood, half term.
Where is he?
He said he was going to give us the or come up during half term, didn't he? Absolute bullshit merchant.
He's got no bottle. It's good job he's got some bottle in the ring.
Yeah, he's bowled it.
He hasn't got any bottle outside the ring, is he?
He's ducking me.
Yeah. Ramez.
I wouldn't say that to his face.
Ramez. No.
Keyboard warrior.
Ramez. Keyboard warrior. I can do this. I can do that. Not good.
Next time, Ramez. Next time you got the school holidays, we want you up here.
Exactly.
So yeah, those are the main fights in the March one. Obviously, when those dates start coming nearer, so March 7th, March 14th, March 21st, we'll do some full previews of the card.
Yeah. But we're actually busy, as you know now, sorting May out.
Yep.
We've just done the first title fight for May, which will be announced in a few weeks' time.
Yeah.
So we've got we work that far ahead. So
Do you drop those announcements after the March cycle?
We'll probably drop the announcement probably second week of March or something.
Okay.
Like that.
So you do it, during
first week of March. Yeah, we'll do it when it's appropriate and when we get it all finalised and the contracts all signed and everything like that. So we don't release anything until we've got the contracts in.
Yeah. All right, cool. Right, so yeah, we will touch on those. I don't think we're missing you off if we haven't mentioned your name today.
Don't worry, we will be discussing every fighter on every show the week before the show. Week before.
Steve will give you a full preview
of every single fight on every single show.
Yeah, and I'll pretend I know what I'm on about. I never understand how you remember all the dates.
What's that, of all the...
It amazes me. It's like the Eddie Hearn interviews. I never understand how he does it either. When you always know who's fighting on what date, who they're fighting against. I struggle to remember.
So Paul, you've got to know that, because if a fighter rings me, I can't say, hold on a minute, I'm just going to look at my schedule bit of paper. I need to know. I need to be on it. And if you've got to be on it with every fighter as to what they're doing, what the plans are. You've got to be well on it.
Yeah, but I know all the things that you have going on in your life in terms of like the financial business and things as well. For that space in your memory bank to be assigned to each individual fighter, I find fascinating. I don't have the memory recall for it. Right, cool. We're going to go on and prove my lack of intelligence with a weekly rant, which we're going to have in a second. And then when we come back, a video with Jamie Smith, the one that you have a particular like for at the moment. And yeah, we're going to hear from him. But firstly, we're going to go off to the weekly rant and then we'll be back.
Martin's weekly rant.
Right, my weekly rant. So I've seen various comments around the price point for Wilder versus Fury and the fact that it was at 5 o'clock in the morning over in Vegas and for £25. Now, I object to pay-per-view as a model anyway. I know it's a view that I share with young Joshua Goodwin of if you have a paywall already for Sky and if you have one already for BT, then putting anything with an additional paywall of pay-per-view seems like a piss take to me, especially when the core product is pretty poor at the moment anyway. You know, what are you paying Sky 40, 50 quid a month for if you're a boxing fan? Similar for BT. If you're a boxing fan, you're not getting great value for money out of that product. To then build a secondary paywall behind that to watch any boxing is a bit of a piss take. But accepting that is the model and accepting the price point has gone up to £25 on the back of Joshua versus Ruiz out in Saudi Arabia. I've seen various comments complaining about £25 for Wilder versus Fury being at 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't understand that point of view. Either it's worth £25 or it's not worth £25. The time of the day is almost irrelevant to me. If I went to Domino's Pizza, they're not going to reduce the price of the pizza if I want it at 5 o'clock in the morning after I've been on the piss all night, rather than at 8 o'clock in the evening because I'm in with my family. The core product remains the same price for them for production, for paying the fighters, etc., etc. You're either going to get up for it at 5 o'clock in the morning and watch it and pay for it, or you're not. You would have got up for that, stayed up for that at 9, 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night. The fact is that £25 as a price point for pay-per-view will drive more and more people to find alternative ways to watching it, whether that be, you know, getting together with mates or going down the pub or illegally streaming it, whatever that is. But I do not understand the argument that says 5 o'clock in the morning should be £15, 9 o'clock at night is £25. Either a product is worth £25 or it isn't. We're back.
After your rant.
After my rant. What do you think?
I don't think it matters what time of the day it is for the pay-per-view, but I have an issue with pay-per-view per se when you're paying so much money for what if you feel there's value. I think if you're paying Sky Sports and everything else associated with it, I think it's enough. I think it's only mega fights that should charge. I think Fury Wilder should be pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that fight, or was £25. I don't have a problem with it. You don't know how good a fight it's going to be beforehand, but the point is, I think that's acceptable. But I think, I don't think it should be levelled, all the time for all fights. I mean, I've had an issue with some of the Dillon White fights being pay-per-view. I don't feel that that's worthy. They've been worthy of pay-per-view. I've said that before. But again, I won't pay for them. So you vote by your feet, and it's as simple as that. If not enough people think it's pay-per-view, they're not going to buy it. It's not going to work anymore. But if people do pay for it, then that tells you that there's a market. There's a market for it, and therefore the promoter should take that market and make it work. So I think it's up to people whether they want to pay. But I do think if they're going to keep putting the prices up, people are going to stop paying for the not so good ones.
I think it's interesting actually the last 12 months in terms of Sky fluctuating their prices. So they've kept it at 15 to 20 quid, yeah. 18.95, whatever it was, for years. And then they lowered it for that Jake Paul KSI down to a tenner. And then they put it back up to 25 for the Joshua fight. I've always thought that must be an experiment in seeing what the peak price point is. In terms of if you put it at £10, do twice as many people buy it? Mm-hmm. Now, granted, you're aiming that at a different audience, different people completely get that. But as an experiment, at £10, do twice as many people buy it as at £18.95 or not?
Well, I think there's enough ways to stream a fight and not pay for it. And I think if you're putting prices up to 25 as a good, people are just going to stream it.
I agree.
There's more people doing it illegally.
I agree completely. And if you charge a tenner for it, I'll probably think, I'll pay a tenner.
For it,
because for the effort of streaming it and the risk of the stream going down midway through a round, all that stuff, for a tenner, I'll chuck a tenner in and do it. I do feel I'm being ripped off at 25 quid for one fight. But I don't want to use the term once in a lifetime because it's a rematch, but it's a mega fight, Fury Wilder. Just as it would be if Wilder fought Joshua, just as it would be if Fury fought Joshua. Mm-hmm. That triangulation of boxers. Mm-hmm. Any of those I don't object to a pay-per-view model for. Anyway, right, Jamie Smith. So tell us a bit about him because you're a big fan of the lad.
Yeah, I liked him. I liked him when he came up to sign. I thought he had a great resume from the amateur career, and on his first fight, I really liked him there. And Ali, my friend from Stonebridge, rang me up after he sparred Mikel Lawal and said to me, "You've got a special kid here." So that reinforced my viewing, and Ali is not one for saying that.
Yeah.
So
2 mentions in the show.
Yeah, 2 mentions in the show for Ali. But yeah, so that was good, and I think he's really, really, really decent. And we're used to decent cruiserweights because we've got a lot currently at decent level. We've had obviously got.
You've had a production line for years.
Dion Juma. I had Wally Camacho, and I've now got Dion Juma.
Jose coming through.
And we've got Elizara 8-0. We've got Daniel Mendes, former Southern Area champion, who's improved dramatically under Brian G. He's coming back, so we've got a real good plethora of cruiserweights. And obviously we've got Mark Little, who is 12-1, and he's still the best he's yet to come. And we've got obviously Mark. Obviously,
who have you got? Curtis Sorry?
Sorry.
Sorry?
Sorry, which I would have mentioned. And then we've got Jamie coming up. So, and I think he's got everything. He's with Andy Gill over in Amersham. I think they're a great team. Andy's going to be a top-notch trainer, and I think he's going to be excited to watch. So let's see what he's got to say.
All right, excellent. Thank you. So we'll pass it over now. Jamie Smith, you're going to hear from.
Okay, so we're Good Boxing HQ. We're joined by unbeaten cruiserweight Jamie Smith. How are we doing, Jamie?
Not bad, thank you. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad.
Oh, yeah.
So, obviously, coming up to your second pro fight on the 7th of March. Yes. Obviously, made your debut last year. First of all, how was your debut? How did it feel to become a professional?
Debut was overwhelming. Obviously, it's your first outing. You got a lot of people turning up, supporting you, all there for you. So, it was good though. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the atmosphere. Obviously I got the win, which is always good. It was very good, mate. Good, thank you.
Do you feel the pressure of the other people? So obviously, people know you have to sell tickets in professional boxing. You have a lot of people come to support you. Do you feel the pressure of their expectations as well as your own?
Not so much. I mean, I have very high expectations of myself. So I think the expectations of other people are quite irrelevant. You know, I expect a lot from myself. So yeah.
So obviously we had a change of opponent your debut. You had a tough debut as well, tougher than most, but obviously a late change of opponent. How did that affect you? Because obviously it was only a week or so, week and a half out before the fight, the opponent changed. How did that affect your preparation? And obviously it can happen in boxing, but did it affect you at all, or was it just...
Not really. You just got to roll with the punches. You know?
Similar to amateurs, it can change in amateur, can't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so, you just took it as it come. Yeah, so, it's good, mate. In
a great gym down at Evolve Gym in Amersham, headed up by Andy Gill there. We've seen the Frimpong twins in here earlier on.
Yes.
Stephen Cook there as well, Hassan as well. It's a great little stable. What's it like being in the camp?
Yeah, it's good. It's good, exciting. A lot of different, people, different. Well, what's the word I'm looking for? Personalities. That's right. Different personalities. Yeah, and it's great, man. Atmosphere.
It's a really. I've obviously been down there. Obviously, quite close to you guys down there. You've got a really friendly sort of banter. It's a real sort of like a brotherhood down there, isn't it? In terms of your all together banter and stuff. Does that help you in that respect? I mean, obviously you do banter about, but obviously there's a lot of hard work goes on. Does that relationship pull you through?
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously we're joking all the time. It kind of puts the hard work aside, and makes it a lot easier to get through. Yes. Good.
And you work full time as well. So how difficult is that judging being a full time pro and a full time worker, so to speak?
I mean, it's hard. Obviously, you got your early mornings, you get up and run, and then you train in the evenings, and obviously work in between. But again, you just take it as it comes. It's what you signed up for. And you just got to work hard.
And this camp coming up for your second pro fight, has it been any different from your first one, or has it been very much the same, just obviously focused on the same things?
Yeah, that's it. Very much the same, really. Just training hard as always. We're always preparing for our championship fights, doing many rounds sparring, many rounds on the pads, many rounds on the bags, everything. Continuous.
All right, Jamie, so if people want to follow you, people want to get hold of you, people want to follow the career, I think I like this guy, I like the cut of his jib. How do they get hold of you? Are you on Facebook? Are you on Instagram? How do they get hold of you?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, it'll be Jamie Smith, or if you follow Evolve Elite, then you can see me on there, captioned in a lot of the videos on there, so get following.
Alright, Jamie, we'll look forward to your second outing on the 7th of March. Thanks, mate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jamie. Much appreciated, and you'll see him in March. Right, Trevorism time. So for the second week in a row, Trevor's bypassed you and come straight to me. So, Trevor's Trevorism of the week. Let me get it up. Right. I believe £25 wasn't enough for Fury versus Wilder. Given the risk that these two lads are taking, I think everyone who wanted to watch it should have paid double.
Right, so he wants pay-per-view to be £50.
In his view, he thinks, and I did speak to him about it actually off the record as well, his view is that given the risk of Deontay Wilder's right hand, he thinks Tyson Fury, for like danger money essentially, should have been paid double by everybody that wanted to watch it. His view was it's the most dangerous right hand outside of... Well,
so on that basis, we got to pay £50.
That's what he reckons. So that we could chip into basically danger money for Tyson Fury. £50 per pay-per-view.
Well, that's ridiculous. But you know what Trevor's like? He comes up with the man, he's probably, people think he's actually quite bright. But he's actually not that bright.
No.
He's not that bright.
No, but...
Yeah, but he comes up with some good ideas sometimes. But most of the time he comes up with... I mean, why on earth would anybody want to pay £50?
Ask Trevor. You can ask him in March in a bar.
Yeah, go and speak to Trevor, and if you did pay the pay-per-view, why don't you ask him to give you the money for it? Because he seems to want to
give out money for everyone.
Shipping for everybody. So go and see Trevor at the bar, get him to give you a 5 or 10. Trevor, you need some help.
Right, Q&A. So Tim Brown is something I've missed from last week actually. What are your thoughts on Warrington going back to Matchroom? Good or bad in the long term? Maybe Frank Warrington counts the truth. That's up to you, Tim, to decide upon that. What are your thoughts on Warrington going to Matchroom?
Well, he's obviously got to go there because he's going to have a better deal, isn't he? I think boxers at that level, they just go where they go. Frank Warren has done a brilliant job with him, but he's obviously took a look at what Frank can offer him and feels that Eddie has got a better platform now to offer him probably more money, better fights, better exposure. That's probably why he's gone. There's probably no other reason as to why, but you can't criticise Frank for what he's done. He's built him when Eddie didn't want to build him.
Yeah.
Eddie basically told him to bog off when he was trying to do a deal with Eddie. He went back. Just shows how boxing works, doesn't it? That he's been told to get lost by Eddie.
Well, the loyalty lies by everyone.
That's just how
the one I feel sorry for out of this, which is quite weird for me, is Frank Warren.
Yeah.
And actually, the contract ran out between him and Warrington by all accounts. So Warrington's well within his rights to walk away. But given that Hearn, I'm not saying did a bad job, but didn't seem to want to invest in him last time round, is now happy to because of the job someone else did for him.
He's just picking up Eddie's picking up the benefits from what Frank Warren has done. That's boxing. That's what we're dealing with.
I don't know. Is it indicative of where BT are at the moment with boxing? I mean, when you look at who's left that stable over the last 12 months, Fury, Joshua, Liam Smith, Josh Warrington. I heard rumours recently that somebody else was likely to be going very, very soon. Is it indicative of, if you had all the money in the world, you could make all the fights for those boxers that you wanted?
So it's telling you something's not right.
That would be my view. There's maybe not the investment from the platform into the shows. And when you look at the shows that have actually been announced, there's not many of them, and the quality. The one from Saturday night I quite enjoyed, the Cody Davis Umar Sadiq fight and the Foster Reed fight. But they're not big cards, are they? They're relatively cheap cards to be putting on. Then you look at the fact they've made pay-per-view out of Joyce versus Dubois. All of these things to me signify a broadcaster that's not backing with their money.
I think it's fair. And it looks like it from the way that boxers are moving the jumping ship.
Yeah. Anyway, just my thought.
Yeah.
Question from Tottenham Boxing on Twitter. Do you think Hearn cares about UK fighters outside of AJ anymore? Or, like me, do you think his UK fighters are just card fillers or opponents for his US, UK and European shows?
I don't think he's definitely not as focused on developing the UK talent as he was. But Adam Smith did say last week that they want to give Eddie Hearn an extension to his Sky contract.
Yeah, because last year he said he wanted to see the quality of shows improve. The quality of the shows haven't improved, in my opinion. When you look at Davis versus Vasquez as a headline fight up in Newcastle, come on man, Vasquez, he might have beaten Ahara Davis really, but he didn't on paper. He's lost 3 of his last 6, I think it is. It's a headline fight.
But then Adam's saying that they're happy now, so with the quality of the fight, so let's go with an extension. That's what he's saying.
That's really handy.
That's what he's saying. So if that's the case, if Eddie's going to get a renewed Sky contract, then you would think that he's got to get back to signing him. But I guess he's got the Olympians this year when they finish. Go and grab some of them.
That feels like, when a footballer's, their contract's coming up for renewal in like 18 months. They start, like Paul Pogba sounding off about Real Madrid want me and Juventus want me and all these things. And it kind of forces your current employer into, right, we're either going to lose them or we've got to pay them a bit more or give them a longer term. It feels a little bit like that to me. That with the DAZN kind of ship on the horizon and potentially coming into the UK, not imminently I don't think, but in the not too distant future, it kind of feels like they need to have Hearn tied down. But I don't have an issue with it if they get rid of the exclusivity element. Let other people have a go on it as well. Or let Hearn even dictate that.
But they have done a little bit because they've let the MTK Golden contract go on, haven't they?
Yeah, which is good. Like, fill those voids that you're leaving by not putting shows on over here. Put your shows on, put MTK's shows on. as long as they're good quality cards, put them on. Let's see them. If Matchroom aren't going to fill the void, still control the contract, but sublet it to other people.
Fair. Be interesting to see what happens. Be interesting to see.
The final question was from British Boxing Blog. Who's the most naturally talented boxer Steve has ever worked with?
Let's exclude the ones that are currently fighting, because if we take people like Dillon Juma, Linus, Udofia, blah blah blah, they've still got to fulfil their careers. So,
you don't know where their ceiling is.
No, so I don't want to talk about current, but let's talk about somebody that's retired, finished, and done. It would be Ian Lewison, the man who couldn't stay away from KFC, but was immensely talented. If he had been able to stay away from food places.
Yeah.
He really was. He hit hard. He had a brilliant boxing brain. He was able to. He could box brilliantly. He had a great jab. He was just never, ever on weight or fit.
Disciplined.
But he was naturally talented. He could have been in the world, in contention with the world in the world honours. He could have been at that level. Now people may laugh at that because they remember him with a big belly. Forget on his talent. If he had applied himself and had the same commitment that Joshua has or Dillian Whyte has, he would have been at that level.
But you can't laugh at that. When you look at the tail end of his career, his last fights, Dillian Whyte, it took Dillian Whyte deep. Joe Joyce on his debut, I know it's his debut, but he's had 150 amateur fights or whatever, and look at how quickly they've accelerated Joe Joyce.
Yeah.
He took Joe Joyce deep. Those were the tail end of his
wasn't
career.
fit though, was he? In those
when he wasn't fit in those fights. If he had the training discipline to get completely in shape.
He's the biggest waste of talent I've ever been involved with.
Yeah. He's a lovely bloke as well, Ian, isn't he?
Just a waste of talent.
Yeah.
That's life.
He could have gone far.
Could have gone far.
There you go. Ian Lewison. Right, cool. Thank you very much. That's it for Ring Talk for this week. We're back next week, where we're going to start, I think, probably looking through March, because you've got an awful lot going on.
We'll be the next week will be the week before, so we'll preview the 7th of March show in detail.
Shows.
We'll do the first one anyway, and we'll look at the Jordan Joseph fight from this Saturday as well and review that.
Alright, excellent. So thank you very much for watching. Again, all of you, this contributes towards putting money into some boxers' pockets. So thank you very much for your time and sharing and telling your mates to watch, and have a great week, and we'll see you next week.